Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Can Mikey Garcia beat Vasyl Lomachenko? Can Vasyl beat Mikey Garcia? We do not know, so we went to the people and asked IBFP Nation who wins and why. And you know what? I had to look at this fight from a totally different lens. I have to admit, before the Errol Spence Jr. fight, I saw the Vasyl Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia fight one particular way. I thought it was a 60-40 type of fight for Mikey Garcia. I felt that Vasyl Lomachenko would present a lot of problems for Mikey, but ultimately Mikey's power would pretty much clear the way for a clear victory and maybe even a stoppage against a Vasyl Lomachenko. But now my view on this has completely changed, because seeing how Mikey Garcia didn't make any crucial adjustments against Errol Spence Jr., seeing how Mikey Garcia looked extremely flat-footed and had no plan B or C for Errol Spence Jr. And I understand styles make fights. Errol Spence Jr. and Vasyl Lomachenko is not the same fighter, but at the same time, Vasyl Lomachenko is a much more skilled fighter and, renowned fighter when it comes to skill than Errol Spence Jr. And I don't think anybody that knows boxing would dispute that. So if we're looking at a purely better boxer facing a Mikey Garcia, how well will Mikey do against him? I think it'll be a much more difficult fight for Mikey than Errol Spence Jr. was, because I felt like, Mikey, he has the power to stop Vasyl Lomachenko much easier than he would in Errol Spence Jr. But at the same time, Vasyl Lomachenko is so highly skilled and talented, he would present a lot of problems for Mikey Garcia. So let's just dig right into these people's comments. And I think at this point, Mikey Garcia versus Vasyl Lomachenko is an even split 50-50 fight. It can go either way. If Mikey catches him flush, he wins, or Vasyl Lomachenko could completely outbox Mikey Garcia, because the perspective has changed and we have to judge a guy based on their last fights. But let's go over the comments. Omar Cordova says Mikey by knockout. Loma can't hurt Mikey if Errol couldn't. And I agree 100% with that. Errol Spence is a much bigger, stronger puncher than Vasyl Lomachenko. My only caveat to that is Vasyl Lomachenko can hit you clean, crisp a lot and frustrate you. But then again, Vasyl Lomachenko wears down opponents with an accumulation of shots similar to Errol Spence Jr. over the course of rounds. I don't think that Loma would be able to stop Mikey, but I think he could wear him down over the rounds at some point. I think Mikey catches Loma flush one or two times. He could put him to sleep, though. KL Boo says Mikey by knockout in the middle rounds. He walks right through anything that Loma has. After the loss to Spence, he'll be extra motivated to put on a great show. I agree with that. I think Mikey Garcia is extremely motivated, but at the same time, the fact that he's not able to adjust when needed, the fact that he looked flat-footed, that's all going to work in Vasyl Lomachenko's favor, because Vasyl Lomachenko has seen a blueprint on how to beat Mikey Garcia. And it wasn't by power, it was by straight skill, and that's something that Vasyl Lomachenko has. But that's a great statement. The next one comes from Saul Benitez. Saul Benitez says Loma wins simply because of his footwork, hand speed. He also has good timing, pretty accurate his combination that will irritate Mikey. Also, if Loma uses his jab successfully, similar to how Spence did, he can pull off a decision win. Not knockout, though, because Mikey is a tough warrior. I agree, that's a very plausible way for, Vasyl Lomachenko to beat Mikey Garcia. Dr. MR states Mikey beats Loma, maybe even stop him too. I can see that as well. Mikey Garcia is very strong, very talented, and just because he looked a certain way against Errol Spence Jr.'s size created a lot of challenges for Mikey Garcia that Vasyl Lomachenko just simply won't be able to do. But Loma has better footwork than Errol Spence Jr., has better boxing skills and angles than Errol Spence Jr. has, so he's going to present challenges for Mikey Garcia that he's never faced. I think that Mikey Garcia will be able to find range and hit Vasyl Lomachenko at times in this fight, and could possibly hurt him or stop him if he catches him clean. My only thought to this is, can he catch him cleanly? And if he can, Mikey clearly wins. If he can't, he won't. Danny P states, Mikey, my team over yours states if Mikey still has the same timing, speed at 135 and stays busy, he'll win by knockout. But if he starts slow again, Lomachenko will win easily. Big L states Mikey win by knockout middle rounds. And I can see all of those things happening. My thing is Mikey needs a tune-up before jumping right back into a Vasyl Lomachenko fight. That's such a big, dangerous, and difficult fight for Mikey Garcia. Even though it's at a lower weight, you're facing a much more skillful guy. You're facing a guy that wears opponents down round by round, pounds methodically. A guy with so many speed and skill advantages at this point. And it seems that Vasyl Lomachenko has had an answer for pretty much everything any opponent throws at him. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Mikey Garcia, and Mikey must take a tune-up before he jumps right back into the mix with the Vasyl Lomachenko. If Mikey jumps into the mix with Vasyl Lomachenko before taking a tune-up, I'm a little concerned for Mikey, and I would give the edge to Vasyl. If Mikey has a tune-up, looks great, works out the kinks, get his confidence back, I can kind of edge it towards Mikey. Right now, I have it a 50-50 fight if both of these guys meet at their very best based on each guy's skill and power, and I think it's pretty much even down the line and down the middle. Jonathan Amaya said that's a good fight. Depends on who can avoid and throw more punches. Mikey struggled with the amount of punches thrown and couldn't keep Spence at bay. I think that would be an issue as well. He also states that, I think overall Mikey wins via knockout. Loma has been floored by Linares. So I think that as well. Loma has been floored by Jorge Linares, and Mikey work rate is too low. Sometimes he focuses on just landing the perfect or the best shot, and I think that could end up costing him against a Vasyl Lomachenko, who's going to be extremely active, extremely busy, and his work rate is going to be extremely high. So it's very important for Mikey Garcia to up his work rate, have a plan B in case plan A don't work, because we've seen against Errol Spence Jr. when you try the same tactic round after round after round without making adjustments, that can cost you a fight. But I still think that Mikey can win, and if Mikey wins, it'll more likely be by knockout. If Vasyl wins, it'll more likely be by unanimous decision. Joe Part says Mikey. Trav FDY says Mikey by knockout. Joe Part says Mikey too strong. I agree, and I think that Vasyl Lomachenko has shown a tendency to get hit, and I think that could ultimately be his demise if Mikey catches him. Christy Melendez states Mikey. Immortal Fox says Mikey's fire will light up now more than ever because he's lost. If Spence couldn't knock out Mikey, no way in hell Loma will. So it'll go all 12. Mikey's still a very talented and elite boxer who has a powerful punch. If anything, this Spence fight has taught him a lot, and he'll be able to hurt Loma and won't have to worry about being the smaller guy. And I agree. I think all of those things matter. Immortal Fox, you're spot on with your analysis, but I also think we got to give Loma some credit. Loma is a special boxer, and yes, it will go 12, and the fact that it's going 12 will help Lomachenko in his advantage, because I think that if it goes 12, it's going to have to lean a little bit towards Vasyl Lomachenko, because he has to be considered the best pure boxer at this point, especially after the display Mikey Garcia put on. I think that Mikey Garcia is still in the top level, an elite level fighter, but just at a lower weight class. But Mikey Garcia has to regain his confidence. Mikey Garcia is still going to be much stronger than Vasyl Lomachenko, and I think that Mikey can still stop Vasyl Lomachenko. Fozzy 15 says this fight may not happen. Recently, Bob Arum said that Mikey doesn't deserve the 50-50 purse split anymore. I don't know if that will sit too well with Mikey, especially after he probably just made close to $10 million. That's a very good point. And the way I look at it, Fozzy 15, is that if Mikey Garcia and Vasyl Lomachenko fight doesn't happen, I think Mikey goes to 140 and looks for the better fights there. Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, Maurice Hooker. I think those are the fights he looks for if he doesn't get this Vasyl Lomachenko fight at 135 pounds. Uwasu Acampo, Algeria states, I picked Mikey Garcia to win. He has more power punch. He can take a punch as well. We all know Vasyl Lomachenko got dropped by Linares, so I think Mikey can TKO him, but I think they should go and fight at 140 pounds. Lomachenko should start to go up if he wants to make a name for himself by staying at 35. He's off the radar of good potential fights, and at one point he was to mention Pacquiao. He really needs to go up if he wants good money fights, in my opinion only. And I agree with you in that regard as well, because I think that Vasyl Lomachenko must move up in weight to 140. I know a lot of people say no, when his max is 135. He has such an elite level skill set that he has the talent and skills to move up to 140 pounds. And I don't think a Maurice Hooker, it would be out of the realm of possibility for Vasyl Lomachenko to outpoint him. But that's a very, very good statement. And I have to be honest and unbiased. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think we have to see what Mikey looks like after a tune-up. And if Mikey looks like the old Mikey look refreshed and renewed, I think Mikey can get the stoppage over Vasyl. But a lot of people are counting Vasyl out. And Vasyl a very special and elite level boxer. And he's going to be hell to reckon with in that fight. Let us know how you got the fight, who you have winning. Once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.